29th, 2024 regular meeting, and as well as including the executive session.
I second
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes from the meetings of August 29th, both regular and special. Further discussion on those?
No, sir.
Those in favor?
it. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Commissioner items. Commissioner Rapp.
So let's see, let's go through the calendar quick. The next two Wednesdays, the 18th and the 29th will be here. I won't be here the 29th, so I'll zoom in. And then come October, the 2nd we'll be here. The 9th, we won't have a BOCC meeting. That's gonna be our 75% budget review meeting. So if there's anything there that we're starting to see, we can get that included in the budget. The 16th is down in Wetmore, and then the 23rd and the 30th will be back here. And I'll send you a text, Chaplain, with those dates and where they're at.
Or where you can find it on the website. Whoops, that won't work.
Oh, you don't want it in person, huh?
That's all for now.
All right. Commissioner Cannon.
Couple things, we had a great airport board meeting that happened after our last meeting, and we all three were there, and that's one of the reasons we have this ratify the proclamation that we made acknowledging Chief Bob Jolly for all the service that he did, and I won't blow the bluster on that until we get to that item and we can read the proclamation, so it's part of the record. That was a great meeting. The great part about it was we had burgers. Never forget, they got burgers at the airport. So come and get it. Anyway, that was good. I also met with the Rainbow Lutheran Camp for an extensive meeting. They if you remember, Kevin, I think you were part of that. We signed when we signed over some county ground on Lock Mountain and traded, and we now have the county has the property that the Lutheran Camp properly sits on now. So there's some, they want to come in and give us a briefing on where they stand today and those kind of things with how that's being, we'll look at the layout of the ground and everything like that. Nothing's changing with the camp. It's just now under our books. And so they're on the tax rolls as a 501(c)(3). They want to make sure we're all good with how we're accounting for things, as well as the sewage plant that they got up there that's certified by the state. So they understand everything's been certified as legitimate, and we're all good as a county. So I'll bring them in at some point down the road. We got a few minutes. Nothing. There's no urgency, no worries, no hurry. It was a great meeting. And I think for now, I don't have any TV news, so I'm not going to say anything about it.
Too late.
That's all I got.
It all fall right out of your mouth right
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
So, thank you, sir. I just wanted to draw your guys' attention. We've all received an email, and then I think Christy from over at the courts forwarded to us as well, just to notice that the underfunded courts grants are open, and if we were going to utilize any of that, that would need to be submitted, I believe by the end of the month.
Yep.
So they got $8 million for a new justice center for us?
No,
I don't think they have quite that much.
I did see that, and I did talk with RJA, the firm that did the prepare us for the last election.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to get him. He's looked at it, and we're going to take a look at what it takes to get us on the next election cycle to have it considered possibly if we want to present it. They're updating the design so that it's not just a notion print, a footprint. It's going to have to see what it comes up with to fit the motif and the ambiance of Westcliff and Custer County. So that'll be sometime down the road here.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Okay. Yesterday, weed board put on a lunch and learn, down at the bowling alley. 40 people in attendance, and had a waiting list for in case any chairs opened up, so, that was well attended. Brittany came up from Fremont County and gave that talk. Very good, Weeds 101 class, I would say, and had some good information there and things of that nature. Also met beforehand with Willie Wilkins from CSU, and he gave some pretty good guidance to the weed board and how to continue to move forward as they finish up the bylaws, finish up the changes to the county weed plan, because that's supposed to be updated every 3 years. And as we move forward, trying to come up with a weed manager or sprayer for the future. I did visit with Brittany as well. She's putting it in her budget for next year, to include us in the spraying. And then there's a meeting in October that I will be attending down at Pathfinder. It's the regional weed meeting and they'll be discussing the grants that will be due in November for the following year. And we're working off of one of those grants now on our cost share program. So that's on the weeds. Already spoke about 9/11 here. Just to mention, back to your airport, sir. Vince had visited with
Brian, or,
with the contractor that is going to be
Oh,
doing the
yes.
work out there. He was under the impression that they were going to be using road and bridge gravel for that project, and so he might need to be made aware that that's probably should come from the Boyer pit, because that's
Right.
close haul. Road and bridge doesn't necessarily have the gravel to spare for that, but I do believe they have offered their services,
That's
the trucks and the personnel to drive
I think
those.
that was a miscommunication with the, I've got his name, the concrete guy, he's a good guy, that got the low bid on it, but Vince had offered to haul it if it, or to help use some of it, but not necessarily the road base. That's good, they got the money for the road base. So, we'll see how it plays out as they get it, but that has to be done by the end of this month is what they're shooting for, the middle of next, I should say. For a snowfly. Thanks for bringing that up.
You bet. And just a quick note that I did see on the news last night that the DA has, they have voted to disbar her. She has to your point a while ago, she has a couple weeks to appeal. I was gonna say protest, and I knew that was the wrong word, and then once it was there, it was there. So, thank you, sir. And then, we are also at the present time still trying to get set up between the 4 counties of the 11th Judicial District to set up a budget meeting with the, possible incoming DA as well, so that is in the works.
So let me tag on to that when you keep bringing it up.
Okay.
As you know, I and Greg Felt and Eisner and, excuse me, and Dwayne McFall are the points of contact for each of the counties in the 11th district for these meetings. What they're also proposing, which is a good thing, not knowing who the DA is gonna be necessarily, maybe Jeff or not. They're proposing that we start off with a preliminary budget of 15% increased over the DA budget. This is for discussion later when we get together. We gave 2 years ago and 5 last year, if you recall. And then he said that that we all know that the office is underfunded because it wasn't managed very well. Things happen. So what they want to do is to get together and form a budget committee, basically with a commissioner from each county, and review the budget with the DA first of all at the beginning, and then periodically every 3 months or so, kept keeping track, or even sooner than just not the normal big meeting
Right.
with them in there defending their stuff, but keep pushing so they know we're watching. So that's something that we will discuss in our first meeting.
Okay. Kelly, have you got anything for us? All right. And we will not have the sheriff until later, so, we have Virginia's report in hand. She will not be in attendance today. I'll just point out the self-insurance fund is going to be, I mean, it's,
Yeah, it's still just gaining, and we'll transfer that to or whatever it ends up being. But we'll transfer that over here in a budget amendment resolution someday
okay.
soon, so.
Any other comments on that?
The only thing I would bring up is the road and bridge is spending a lot of money, and that's good, because they're making the difference on the roads. They just hit Macy Lane for anybody that's coming in off of Macy to put the asphalt down, getting ready for a chip seal on it, right timely, because axles and wheel bearings were going off of cars, some of the potholes. And we got timely enough that a lot of people thought, well, I just called the A commissioner, whether it was you, Kevin, or Lucas, or I, and it happened. So I'm glad Vince is on top of the plan that he told us that he was gonna do. So pat him on the back for us.
Yes, there, as a matter of fact, they're patching today, had trucks waiting in line. As soon as the plant was back up and running, it was broke down by the time they got down there this morning, so. And we're patching yesterday as well, so. Trying to get some of that done, and then they've gotta get back on the roads for, getting everything set up for winter.
Yeah, they spent $500,000 here this last month doing it.
Anything else?
I move we accept Virginia's report.
I'll second.
A motion on the floor to approve the treasurer's report, for July 2024.
That last month.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you, sir. Brad, you're up, sir.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Thanks for having me to the Royal Throne Room.
Glad you're here at the throne room.
Morning.
Morning.
So last time I reported that we weren't very busy. Things were slow. Things have changed.
Never say that again, will you?
Things have changed. We had a crazy month. So we've had 7 deaths in the last month, which is way over our normal. So, all I will give you is what I'd sent in was, year to date, we've had 11 naturals, 6 suicides. And, since August the 3rd, we've had, 3 suicides, or since August, yeah, we've had 3 suicides this month. And, so most all of them were elderly gentlemen in bad health. So our suicide rate has already surpassed last year. So, sad to say that we've been really busy, but, everything else, we have 0 undetermined deaths. So we know what's happened to everybody. So nothing to wonder about. But, and I do want to give Commissioner Epp a shout out to say he went on a call with me. I had a call one afternoon, particularly bad call. Man had been dead a month before he was found, and it was one of our suicides. He came along and rode along with me to see what we do and what our job entails, and he was actually good help. So
Put him to work too, did you?
I did put him to work. Yeah,
He did. Soon as up and say get in there.
he's on county salary. I'm going to put him to work.
That's right.
So,
Should.
but he was good help. So he knows exactly what our job entails, at least in the field. And
Use your new stretcher and
oh yeah, absolutely.
your
On
budget,
every
okay,
job.
your budget supporting it all.
Yeah, and so I want to report too
Bend
that.
his ear a bit, did you?
Yeah. He may vote for more money for me. So. But the other thing I wanted to report is that we've got almost 75% of the year gone, and my budget is at 45% spent. So I'm running way under budget, and should make it through the year quite well.
Good.
So no issues or complaints. Everything's going smoothly. So I guess that's all I got for you guys, unless I forgot something. Okay.
How's the, when's your next meeting with the state? Cause aren't you?
Yeah, there's a week in October. It starts the 7th of October. I'll be gone for a week.
Okay.
We have a training required by state to keep us certified in our continuing education. So I'll be up there for a week, and because I'm on the board, I've got to be there the whole week.
Okay.
And so if you want to fill in, why, you know how to run the stretcher now.
I've always told Jay, he can call me if he needs me.
Yeah. So,
Maybe you shouldn't say that, but.
yeah, I'll have at least 2, maybe 3 deputies here on staff while I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'll be in Cripple Creek, so if anything major happens, I can run back.
Oh, gotcha.
But otherwise, we'll be completing our training for the state. So outside of that, questions and concerns, why?
No, appreciate it, thank you.
Okay.
So that training, does that include right arm motion, or I guess it's a push button now, isn't it? Instead of the arm to pull?
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah. It's not my thing, so. Yeah, it'll be fun though. Trainings are fun. So, yeah, alrighty.
Thank you, sir.
Good, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Brad.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Brad.
Yep.
Thanks, Nikita.
See ya.
You're welcome.
Okay, staff reports, so, you said finance was gonna be moved to
Yeah, basically moved to
next week, so.
Can I ask one quick question on finance? Because we had the auditor in here a couple weeks ago, whatever it was, and he was preparing the report that we saw in the preliminary, and it was good. So we're still on track, just so everybody knows, to make
Yep.
the date, which
Yep.
is,
the end of the month,
Right.
so, yeah.
so she'll
Yeah,
give
he
us a-
said he was finishing up, I talked to him, I wanna say last week, Friday. Yeah, so just last week, Friday, I talked to him, and he was working on just getting all the i's dotted and t's crossed in the report, so he could hide and found it. And then he'll get a PDF to us, those hardbound copies. And then because we had the single federal audit, there's some things that'll take place, but anything that's got to do with us, he was gonna email to Vernon. So we've both gotta enter in our appropriate information to get that filed and then get this filed, so.
Good.
Those hard copies actually came
Did they?
yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I didn't know, if you wanted them, if you want them over here, I didn't know what you guys wanted to do with them.
Okay, we'll give you.
So they're in my office.
Okay.
I got my copy,
Okay,
so if
Perfect.
somebody's over there and wants to grab them or whatever you wanna do.
I'll bring them over here. I have digital copies, so
Okay.
that'll be fine.
Yeah, bring them
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
IT,
Morning.
morning.
Is that the hat I'm wearing this morning?
apparently it's what it says.
Okay.
As a note, on finance, we're rolling forward with all of our, we've completed all of our budget briefings. Everybody has their budget worksheets, and I'm actually starting to get those back. So the easy part is done. Now it comes the long haul as we fill everything out and get it ready for budget hearings in October. So, IT's had an interesting couple weeks, and excuse me, it's been an exhausting couple weeks. I want to stress that county elections are secure. I've basically rebuilt our entire IT cybersecurity network structure, and the county is as secure as we can make it. There's nothing going to be 100% secure, but as secure as we can make it. And we've changed a lot. I don't want to go into it without going into executive session, but changed a lot of protocols and changed a lot of people's the ability to do certain things. So it's very restrictive and moved into a zero trust environment. So beyond that, we could, if you want, I can give you a full brief in the executive session, or an executive session, excuse me. But that's IT in a nutshell. My life for the last 3 weeks.
Before you leave that, it's important for the public to understand, we did have a data breach, which they all know. You've been working very hard, and there's an independent investigation going on, CBI, and that's why you can't say it all.
And that is true, absolutely.
Colorado
I
Bureau of
can't.
Investigation.
Yes, Colorado Bureau of Investigation is investigating certain pieces of hardware to see if anything was to see if any of our integrity was compromised. So beyond that, I really can't say a whole lot. Yeah. I do have some. I brought it up last month, but I do have the financial documents for the new leases on copiers. So I wanted to present those. There's 5 sets. I didn't staple them because I have to scan them all in anyway. So basically we're updating 4 of our copier leases and the maintenance contract, bundling them all together so we get one bill instead of 4 separate bills that have to be paid individually. We pay it all at once. So that's a much more streamlined approach for our financial billing.
Easier to track.
Easier to track.
And this is
Absolutely.
for planning and zoning, public health, sheriff's office, and road and bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I move that we accept the new Xerox lease for these 4
I'll second it.
machines and a maintenance contract.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to approve the 4 Xerox leases as well as the maintenance contract as presented here today. Further discussion here.
Does that include all the Xerox machines that we have?
That is not all of them, no. The others are up for renewal in 2 years. So we will, we'll revisit this.
How many more do we have?
4 more.
4 more.
Yeah.
DHS is the only one that goes with Globin.
Right.
Globin.
Gobin.
Okay, good.
Anything else from here?
No,
Yeah, and I think we would like to get all of them
one contract
on one contract, so we can look at that
somehow.
2 years
There,
from now.
our Xerox rep is actually looking at that, getting it all together, but the contracts themselves are in strange years, so
Yeah.
we'll have to renegotiate when those others come up.
Okay.
It can be handled in one meeting somehow. I mean, somehow Xerox can get together with you and figure out how they're gonna integrate it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
rather than waiting for the 2 years.
Xerox is very difficult to work with in that regard, but our reps do a good job, so.
Anything else?
No.
Public comment?
I will say this about Xerox, they are probably provide, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, probably the best service that we have up here, so. Otherwise, we would be struggling with service.
Indeed. I looked at, about several years ago, I looked at other vendors as well as a different tech company. And the services provided by Xerox and our vendors were far and away the better option.
Okay. So those in favor of approving the lease agreements for these four leases as well as the maintenance contract, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Do you mind if I sign these at a break? Will?
That's fine,
Rather than going
absolutely.
through them all at this time.
Okay.
I'll get them here shortly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks, Vernon.
Thank you, sir.
Dominic, you are up, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
You're doing it, thanks.
Morning, Kelly.
Good morning.
I'm gonna hand you this before I forget.
Sure.
They changed the format too. Finally.
Finally, it's only, what, 9 months late?
And then I'll give you my
Yeah,
pie
I was
chart.
wondering where's
Because we like pie charts.
Thank you.
Unlike some
At
people,
least some
right?
people appreciate pie charts.
I like pie.
Well, that too.
It was reprimanded for pie charts today night.
I missed that, sorry.
Yeah, I was getting a little grief. Well, there's one person, I don't like pie charts. I will make you a bar graph next time. How about that? So I brought Ray Odoms here. He used to be the Las Alamos County VSO. He replaced Eric Monsiváis when he left the state. So Ray Odom is now with the state, but he wanted to address the Board of Commissioners once I'm done briefing. So
Okay.
he's tagged along with me here. But I'll run through my notes real quick. So days I was in the office last month, I was in the office 16 out of 17 days. The 29th I was working remote to catch up and type up a bunch of Nexus statements. Scheduled appointments it was a busy month last month. I had 67 scheduled appointments, 4 no-shows, 4 cancellations, and then I had 4 home visits. I had 54 walk-ins. New power of attorneys that were submitted was 16, so 207 total. 19 new intent to file, so that puts us at 274 total. New and increased claims, there was 13 of those, so that brings it to 186 total. And then 68 of those were first-time claims, meaning the veterans never filed a claim with the VA. Supplemental claims was 4, so that brings us total 69. And then 5 higher-level reviews, so a total of 33. No new individual and employability claims. I've still got the 1 pending, which is looking favorable. Total claims is 284 as of the end of August. No new burial reimbursement applications. VA debt waivers, no more at this point. I know there's likely some going to be coming whenever the VA decides what they're going to do with that mess with the pension stuff. Increase in compensation, so 43 of those 68 that were first-time claims are now service-connected, so it's 63.2% of those are now service-connected. Some have been denied, I'm working to push back, and some haven't been rated yet. Increased monthly compensation is up to $104,000 a month. That's an increase over what it was. Retro payments, I'm at almost 606,000. And I've still got 1 of those pending, a DFAS audit, because they're retired. And then total combined with retro amount and projecting out through the end of this year, we're at 1.64 million. And then I broke down again the counties. Everybody that was rated in August was Custer County, except for 2. One was Delta County and 1 was Fremont. The one in Delta, he got service connected at 0, so he's not getting any compensation, but he is service connected. So now he's eligible for healthcare through the VA. And then the one in Fremont was it was 10%, so it's a small little bump for their county. But Custer County, we're almost at 1.2 million directly coming into Custer County. And then if we look at that pie chart, so we're actually at 75.8% positive outcomes. And again, those denials, there's 41 active denials. I have had 50 denials since I got here, and I've already turned around 9 of those. Of those 41, 9 are gonna stay denied. Again, because they said the wrong thing at the CMPA exam. One of them I got to 100, so he missed his CMPA exam because he didn't need to go. So there's 9 that are staying denied. But the rest are all mistakes on the VA's part, and I'm working to push back on all of those because I don't have enough to do. So again, looking at the pie chart, you know, the blue, the green, and that's supposed to be pink, that's all favorable. So that little, what's supposed to be red and looks like orange is the denials, and then the yellow is stuff that I asked for increases, and it stayed what it was, so they didn't see an increase. And I'm at 70% of my claims have been rated at this point, so I've still got 30% pending. The VAG, I've actually got 2 veterans that I'm helping with the VAG money. I think we're at 1,800 out of that money that's going to help those individuals. And again, that's monthly reimbursed, so that 6,000 seed money is just returned from the
You
state.
might say what VAG is for
The
public's
veteran
benefit and mine.
It's the Veterans Assistance Grant. So it's the all tobacco money. So the Veteran Assistance Grant is for nonprofits and government agencies. So as the government agency, I applied under VAG. VTF is kind of like a similar program, but it's for nationally chartered organizations. So American Legion, DAV, VFW. So between the American Legion and myself, we have $80,000 to help veterans in financial need, whether it be car repairs, emergency medical, firewood, propane, whatever the case may be, based on financial need, not just I'm a veteran. That'd be like me saying I need the VAG money for firewood. I can pay for my own firewood. I don't need to tap into that. So it is based on financial need. As far as outreach, we was out at the Wetmore Community Center on the 8th. I had 1 veteran and 1 widow stop by. The Silver West Air Fest, we were down there on the 10th. And again, I had 5 veterans that I hadn't met yet. All of them Vietnam veterans, and that same week I had them all scheduled in my office and getting them started on. Well, one of them was service connected, and the other 4 had not filed claims, so I'm working with those guys. Went to the American Legion on the 13th, as I always do, and update them on what's going on. The 14th, I had a meeting with Solvista on the Nexus statements. They're not willing to write Nexus statements, but that's fine as long as they can establish the connection in the record. So I did talk to them about that. So as long as your providers are doing the due diligence and making their notes and tying it back to service, it doesn't matter about the Nexus. It'll show that it's tied to service. The 24th, we had 2 events that day. We had the American Legion Reefs Across America bowling tournament, and they raised over $1,000 for the Reefs Across America program. And then we had the Mount Carmel fundraiser, their inaugural Wet Mountain Veterans Tribute, and they netted $8,051 total. And again, that's going to go right into helping veterans and their families here in Custer County. And it'll be at the discretion of our roundtable, how that money gets used. Veterans Coffee Social, again, every Wednesday. We're getting a pretty decent turnout. We're averaging about 15 or more every week now. So it's picking up. And then again, my Facebook page, I'm sharing stuff on there every opportunity I can. Upcoming stuff, again, the American Legion, I'll be doing their updates. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Rocky Mountain Service Dogs out of Canyon. They want to get a service animal to a veteran here. I have 2 candidates right now. Just talked to the lady on Monday, but they're here tomorrow. So I'm going to give her both the names, and then they'll figure out who they want to work with. And again, it's all the training is going to be provided. So it's just going to be a service dog that's essentially gifted to a veteran. Next week, I'm going to be in Colorado Springs all week. We've got our semi-annual training with the state, and I'll be teaching one of the courses over there for that on tracking metrics. Go figure. So I'll be over there all week. And then the 20th through the 22nd, we have the American Legion has their Blues, Brews, and Barbecues event. So I will be out there on Friday helping them set up, and then I'll be out there doing outreach all weekend.
Where's that gonna be?
It's over at the feed store.
Feed store, like
Yep.
it was last year.
Yep. And I will bring the M37 down, so if you wanna drive it, Kevin, I'll have it out there.
There you go. Yeah, I was just sitting there and I never got to drive it at the airport.
It'll be out there, so if you wanna take it for a spin. It's got power steering.
Man,
Manpower.
that's why that footprint's over there against the door. Right?
Yeah, exactly. 9th of November, I'm just putting this out there, I know it's out there, it's a little way still, but 9th of November is the Veterans Day banquet that Valley Bible Fellowship puts on. So in the past, veterans would put it on and organize it and blah, 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 but the Valley Bible Fellowship decided to take it on so veterans can just go and enjoy a meal and not have to put in any work, they can just go and have a good time. I went to the one last year and it was a great event, so I'll definitely be out there supporting that. We've got a potential date to do that Vietnam Memorial Vietnam Memorial run and take the POWMI flight down there, and that's I think it's gonna be like the mid-October. We're gonna try and make that run down there before the weather really starts to turn. But that's all I have, unless y'all have anything for me.
54 walk-ins, are those people that already have spent time with you, or are those new?
Yes.
Yes, and yes.
And yeah, huh.
Yeah, some of them are folks I'm working with, and they come in and just have a quick question. My deal with my veterans, and they all know this. I don't care if somebody's in the office. If you're stopping by and you have a quick question, open the door and stick your head in. I've been places as a veteran and been ignored and dismissed, and I don't want anybody to have that same experience with me. So they all know, regardless of if I have anybody in the office, just open the door. If you've got a quick question, I'll answer it. If I need to put you on my calendar, I will. And they all know that, and they respect how I do things. I do not book myself out more than 2 weeks for that exact same reason. If I have a veteran that comes to me and I say, hey, I can get you in 6 weeks, I'd never see him back. So that's why I limit myself on my appointments too. I don't book myself out more than 2 weeks. And actually, this is actually the furthest I'm booking out right now because I'm gone all next week. So I'm booking into the week of the 23rd, otherwise I'd be getting in next week. Yeah, but all my folks, and again, some of them are new and they're just stopping by, and you know, if I have nobody in there, then I'll take care of them right then and there. But if I have to schedule them, I'll schedule them. But I usually get them in within a few days.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, I want to pat you on the back, don't let it go to your head. Take it easy, because I want the public to understand. What you heard was $1.2 million for veterans in the county. And the additional 500,000 that went to other county people from other counties. Fremont County, 23 veterans took advantage of him. I didn't take advantage.
Took advantage of the service.
Service.
Right.
The service he provides is amazing because we've never had that done before. This is money that the veterans were due that they didn't know they should have had in the first place. So this is a great thing, a service that's happening. We've always had the reports. We've had a lot of support in the past with our other VSOs working the meetings and those kinds of things that were in the Veterans Assistant Grant and all those kinds of things with the American Legion as well as the Veterans of Foreign Wars. So I want to really pat you on the back. This is a tough job, and he doesn't say no to many people. And you got to be careful.
So about that, I have had to kind of rein it in a little bit because I'm getting referring veterans all over the state.
Yeah, that's
and my caseload's getting ridiculous. So I've
you got Delta County, Mesa County, Douglas County, Texas, Oregon, Utah.
So I'm limiting it now to the surrounding counties. So Saguache, Chaffee, Fremont, El Paso is as far as I'm going. Pueblo, Huerfano. So just the surrounding counties for here. Otherwise, it's just getting out of hand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hate saying no, but if my caseload comes back down, then I'll expand it back out again. But right now, it's just, it's
doing a great
ridiculous.
job. Keep it up.
Yeah. But again, my priority is Custer County.
And then we're looking at putting money in his budget next year to bring him in, at least a part-time person to help him out. Take away some of just the clerical bookwork stuff.
But that person, I will be training them to be a fully accredited VSO, and they'll have all my access. And again, it'll be more
You
doing
don't stand in when you're not around.
Right, it'll be more so doing the intake, returning calls, whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna train them and mentor them to be a fully fledged VSO. So I will give them 2 or 3 cases a month that they can work on, and I can mentor. And then if I'm gone, then they can fill in as I'm gone. But if I haven't left and they want to roll into the position, they'd hit the ground running. If they were to move somewhere else, then I've given them the toolbox and armed them go on and apply as a VSO somewhere else. So, but that's the plan.
They'll be housed in one of the cells.
No, like I said before, Christy's not a county employee, so I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, we have that little space right when you walk into her little space right there. They have that one. Well, we have the Beamer chair right now. They'll probably where they'll be set up. And again, they won't need much privacy there because they won't be really talking too much about their medical conditions. They'll be more so just doing intakes and whatnot. So, it shouldn't be an issue.
Don't wreck his car.
Poor Christie. No, I promise. It's made it this long, I promise not to scuff it.
Thanks, Don.
No problem.
Make the motion that we approve the CBA 26 form.
Second it.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to approve and sign the CBA 26 as presented here today. Any further discussion? Okay. Public comment? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries.
Now we got a follow-up, right?
Yes, sir. And I can't say enough good things about Ray. Ray's work ethic is just like mine. The way he approaches things is just like I do. So
They both get together and explode.
I have a lot of respect for this man.
Does he talk?
Nuclear reactor.
Does he talk as fast?
Good morning,
No,
Commissioner.
he doesn't.
How you doing?
He's an Army veteran, so he's a little slower.
All right.
So I just wanted to, thanks for letting me come in this morning. I just wanted to, again, you said it earlier, Dominic, he's just outstanding. I mean, when I first met him, I think we just hit it off, and things went from there. He's always forward thinking about looking forward ahead and not staying in there. So again, Dominic, he was a state VSO, and we miss him. But I want to tell you, I mean, you got a great VSO, and I've seen what he's done already, and he always say, "Hey, Ray, things are moving. They're moving," and it shows just from his reports. Again, VAG grant, going there, bringing that in to the community. I met a lot of the veterans today at coffee. I went there, met some of them, and they were talking about, what he's doing in the community. And that's what we want. We want that outreach out there, and we also want veterans being served. So this is, I brought this down. They wanted me to just give it to him. And I think, again, I know Dominic. I know what he's done when he was at the state. And he didn't get the opportunity to receive this plaque. And so they said, "Hey, can you get this to him?" I was like, "No, I'm going to see if I can come down there and present it to him, And I think this is a great opportunity. So I'll read that. It says, "For your exemplary support as a Northwest Veteran Service Officer, with our greatest appreciation for your dedicated service to veterans and the community while serving as the Regional Service Officer with Colorado Department of Military and Veteran Affairs." Again, Dominic is still one of the people who everybody calls, and it still happens today. And I call him myself, and it's like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And same vice versa. And we have to have that camaraderie between each other. So I wanted to present this to you. And he didn't want this, he didn't even know, but I wanted to present this to you, Dominic. And thanks for all your hard work, and keep up the fight.
So anybody that knows me, I always tell them I track my metrics and I report my metrics. Actually, what I'm briefing next week is metrics, because it's critical. I'm like, county commissioners, that all they know is that they have to have a VSO, and they're not educated really on what a VSO does and how it affects the community. And that's why I'm briefing it next week. But I always tell my veterans, these are my numbers, and I'm not telling you for a pat on the back or for accolades. I want you to know I'm invested and I get results. And I always tell them, I can't care about your claims more than you. I don't do this job for this. That's not why I do this job.
I know.
Well, don't throw it away.
Congratulations.
Hang it up.
Thanks again. I know you didn't know.
He didn't know. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting.
Thank you
Nice
very
meeting
much.
you.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You good? You need a break?
No, I'm good. I would like to know why Bill didn't get the memo to wear a blue checkered shirt. I mean,
Yeah, I know you got,
Bob got
everybody
it.
else got it.
I had one green like that,
I missed
I
the
wore it
memo.
yesterday and my wife wouldn't let me.
I know you don't read your emails, so it didn't bother you.
That's right.
So, okay, road and bridge.
They won't have any questions.
Yeah, I was looking for that here. I had it earlier.
What's you guys' thoughts on going through these
Okay, thank you.
reports here in this meeting?
I think if anyone has any questions on one, we can pose a question. If not, we can move on to the
That's
next.
what I
That'd
think,
be
too.
my opinion.
Okay.
And they're online, so good.
Yeah.
So I would just mention on the road and bridge, the 264 and, Black Fawn and those, a couple of those that were issues have been, 264 is done, I believe, other than capping it with gravel.
No, it's capped.
Is it
You
capped?
better believe it, it's great.
And then they're in process on Black Fawn right now, so they've gotten it pulled and getting it shaped. And then that will need to be capped, because that's all black dirt out there. Patching today again.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
All right. Human resources.
Come on up, Bob.
Thanks for coming. Hard and long walk.
So, thank you. First to start with, so I apologize for not having something in writing for your packet. Fortunately, been doing a little large amount of my time has been taken up by other requirements for the need of the county that, well, started, wasn't able to actually finalize it until even as early as this morning. When I was at work early this morning, finalizing some things to bring to you today. So I will get that finalized in writing without my notes to Kelly so it can be put on the agenda so everyone has it. So my apologies.
No
Just
problem.
Yeah, no worries.
sometimes the workload overshadows available time.
Well,
So
you had a 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-gallon bucket, so you waded
Indeed.
through it, so.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
So a little bit, let's see. I guess so. I've been working with a little bit on everything on everyone's mind is a finance director position. So I have been trying to look at ways to fill that need for the immediate right now and long term, because I'm seeing it that way. And just some research of my own right now, just in the state of Colorado, there are probably 10 to 12 municipalities and or counties, just public sector, who are recruiting for a finance director, just in Colorado. And
Hard to compete, huh?
yeah, and I don't, not derogatorily, but as far as size and ability to pay, we're on the bottom end of that. It's not because they're of more importance, but financially, Custer County doesn't have the pocketbook to pay what City and County Denver would pay, or, other large front range agencies or cities can do. And that's not a slam against us. It's just a matter of the size of the pie. So along with that, so I've been looking in addition to actively looking and recruiting and trying to find someone long-term. I've had conversations with each of you about the possibility of bringing somebody in as a temporary fill-in finance director who has those prerequisite skills, knowledge, and abilities on a temporary basis. I've done that in other places where I have been with great success. And I have talked to 2 individuals or organizations that have that ability. One of them, I'll hand out to you her knowledge. She's been doing this the exact same thing across Colorado and so her information is there, as well as a proposal. I've talked to her about being in a temporary finance director for us capacity. And she knows what I mean when I say that, because we've had that discussion.
Where was that person?
She's in Denver. That's where her office is, and works out of Denver.
So it'd be
But
remote?
it would be remote and here, combination somewhat like Lisa does. She's done work for, let's see if I can find it, and I'll hand this out to you.
Different
City
counties.
of Brighton, City of Thornton, City of Clear Creek County. I know several others that we talked about. Some of them are same places I used to work. So we have some related experience that way. So,
Okay, good.
and she has a very good understanding of what a finance director does. And I've shared with her what kind of things we need. So my recommendation or put to you is that you consider bringing her in a work session. And she's amenable to that, to sit and have a discussion with you or whoever you want to
And the
have here.
citizens, huh?
Yeah, whoever. But the work session would be to you.
Okay.
And you could have Vern here, but her purpose is to meet with you because you're the employer or you're the contracting agent, and to talk about that. And I think that would bring us a long ways to stabilization, to bring the county move forward quickly. And then while we continue to look for someone long-term to fill that position. Again, I'm still talking with the other organization. Again, they also have the ability to, but I'm still working out and having conversations with them. And I still have a couple other places I want to reach out to that would have a pool of potential people to come and do that. So I'm trying to come at it from a couple of different directions to help the needs of the county.
Good.
And I had a conversation with this, as soon as I got the email from, I called the person immediately and had probably an hour-long conversation with them, and then I forwarded it to Bob. So let's start actively engaging with this person.
The other, there's Colorado GFOA, which my father was a member of. And when he retired, he did the same thing.
Good.
Is to see if they have any past members who, and it's kind of a common thing for them, is to have past members be on a list as available as intermediate, step in
Good.
for this.
So meanwhile, our websites are active. Got the word out statewide.
Yep, and I
Nationwide.
still want, there's some other places I want to try and get it to, but I keep being pulled off to deal with other emergencies. I'm not saying that finding a finance director is not important. I'm just saying that some fires burn brighter and hotter than others. So with that said, I'm working on preparing for the annual open enrollment for the employees' health benefits. That'll start in October, so I'm working in conjunction with CTSI on that. So I've had discussions with Betty Apt, and what the plan is at this point is she's preparing a video link, I guess you would call it, that she prepares for us that I would be able to, in lieu of having in-person meetings with all the employees and it seems to disrupt operations a lot in my experience, is send that out to all the employees with a link in it to the benefits that they have, that they can look at and go through all that process, as well as paperwork that I send to them, and go through that process. That way there's some flexibility in getting that done, and yet the information gets done with minimal disruption to services of the county. Also preparing the annual Medicare Part D reporting, which is where the employers are required to get notices to all the employees that if the health insurance plan that we have is telling that that plan is considered Medicare eligible, and that if you meet the requirements, you can opt out of our insurance, take Medicare Part D, and then making them aware of their rights and eligibility and all that other stuff, and where they can have access to that and all that other stuff. It's just something we do that is part of the checklist. That's best practices and or requirements. Also having discussion with CTSI about having them do our 1094 and 1095 reporting, and what that is. The Affordable Care Act requires that once a year, the employees be given notice that their health insurance plan that tells them of these 12 months in this calendar year, you had coverage on these months, and of your elected dependents, they had coverage under these months, and letting them know that. And then along with that, there's a form that goes to the government under the ACA format that has to be reporting. That can be done by the employer. And CTSI has the ability to do that for us because they have records of who had coverage when, because they're our provider. And
So we have not done that in the past.
When I started, I could not find records of last year's. So I can't answer if it was or not, but I did not find records that report was done last year, the year before, yes. My walk through our CCIC program that holds a lot of that data, I'm not convinced that it's accurate. I mean, we can have a discussion of why I think that is, but it was all before me. As I started doing an audit of our operations, it became clear to me that even if I programmed us to do it, which is possible, I don't trust the data that's in there to be accurate. And so the only other place that I know it exists accurately is with CTSI. They have the ability to produce those for us.
Okay, 1094 and what was it?
1095.
That's what I thought.
1094 and 1095C to be specific. And so those notices go out to the employees. And then one report that takes all of that into one report and sends it to the federal government. So I'm moving forward as a way to meet that requirement.
Yeah, I know for a couple of years, we got the form because we had to file that with our taxes.
Yes.
And then after that, that requirement went away. And we didn't, I don't know if we saw a report after that, but
Yeah.
when we did not have, I think we still got a report, but did not have to file that with our
Yeah,
taxes.
it's depending, I guess, which tax advisor you use. Some will say you have to have it. Some will say it's secondary, and as long as you have it. So, I'm not as versed on whether or not the IRS on the tax filing is going to require I file it, or, personally when I have them, but I can't answer on the personal tax side, because that's outside of my knowledge or scope. So mine is to try and keep the county in. So, because I just know that if I tried to do it, I don't trust. I mean, the form could be created, but I don't trust the information in it. So I gotta find another way. Positions that are posted or ready to post. So the full-time landfill equipment operator is posted. Part-time assessor's office data collector. I know he's got a number of applications and going through those. Part-time seasonal wildfire mitigation coordinator. That's grant funded. There's just finished doing a formal job offer for that position yesterday. That person has been identified. That's, again, temporary, part-time, grant-funded position. I know that there's discussion with the Emergency Operations Department to whether we try and do something long-term with that, or possible restructure, or there's still, because I know that was part of the work session discussion we had, and I've had discussions with her about, I think there's room for
The
discussion.
OEM.
Yeah, the OEM stuff, so
Right.
that's still kind of nebulous or is still being worked out, I
You're
guess.
gonna bring all this together and
Yeah.
discuss it later.
Exactly.
Good.
DHS caseworker, that one's posted. In the process of being posted, or we're trying to work through to get everything together, the full-time BOCC administrative assistant or whatever, and that job description is updated and ready to be posted, which would include some PIO, loose term of PIO responsibilities, not for emergency management PIO stuff, but media communication and
Coordination across
coordination, that kind of stuff. Chief Deputy Treasurer, she's announced that her intention to retire at the end of the year. So I am working on getting that done, and I apologize to her that I haven't, again, I've had other responsibilities that had to push that back farther than I wanted to. I wanted to have that done by now.
Said the deputy's retiring.
She is retiring, and so we're trying to get that filled as soon as we can, so there's some transitional timing and training. So then this will be new to the community. The Director of Human Services, Laura Lockhart, has announced her retirement effective January 15th. So I'm in process of working on the job description and a replacement process for getting that key critical component position filled. So that's high on my list to get started. I've been doing some preliminary work and hope to bring that to the surface here. Currently positions filled as the Public Health Director, which we've made an announcement for. And then also the Sheriff's Office has a new hire for, I think it's Patrol Deputy, so I know that person is working. So that's what I have.
Good.
Thank you.
You did all that in one breath. All right.
That sounds like.
So,
That's
yeah.
hard to do.
Yeah.
and thank you on Laura's position, because I would like, personally, I would like to see us be able to have that out and have someone in for a transitional period before our current director is gone, so that would be an easier and smoother transition.
That would be my hope and work toward that goal as well.
Yeah, Deputy Treasurer as well, so
Yeah.
we're gonna have to find some budget for that.
Everybody needs to get trained up.
And as always to the board and to the community, if there's any time questions or call me. My email is available, so email me. I'll do my best to answer any questions that I can to the board or the community, so. That means an open statement, so. Oh, and then one other thing. So, I think this is important. So I've had conversations with members of the Health District Board. And I know that there's been interest in that either individually from the board that, if I can help provide guidance and input to them as a community board to do so. So I've had some phone calls and in-person meetings with the board, different members at different times about that. And I've already given them some input. And so talked this morning, it's one of the things early here this morning about doing that on a more formal basis.
What county?
Just here is the
West Custer.
Custer County.
Okay, that's right.
To be in an advisory role, an advisory capacity.
They were looking
on-
at that, meant they heard her get an HR.
And so just to be an advisor to them from Custer County. And they are, I've had some discussions with them by phone and some in person, and beginning to get an understanding of what they're needing and the help. And so again, it's an extension of what I'm doing for you as a board. And so I'll be starting that as early as I'm putting some stuff together in an email to them in communication, and then start attending some of their meetings on the first Thursday, I want to say. So that will be an extension of what I'm doing here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you for all of that.
you're welcome. Okay,
Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Sweet talking with you.
Still good?
Of course, he's here.
Okay, planning and zoning,
We had you for a written report, do you have,
are you wanting to address your other things
I'm just,
There.
or just,
I'm not here.
that's later under new business? We
You were
can
with-
go with just your report for right now if you have a few moments to hang out for your other, unless you would like to speak to us about your report.
I'm fine with it just being written.
Okay.
okay,
The only thing I would add is that, we've been awarded the grant that I applied for to automate our, files so that everyone has access to the needed information, public information, which will drastically eliminate,
good,
the need for people to come in and, gather information about their parcels, so. And it's also gonna encompass West Cliff and Silver Cliff. I've met with both the town manager and the building department, director, and they're very excited about joining in that venture so that we have all of the parcels completely uploaded and on QPublic. I did speak with JD and he was very, willing to work with my department to get everything put online. So I'm excited about that.
good.
That's good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then the only other thing I wanna bring up about that is because permits are down, capital improvement funds for funding capital improvements is down. So, just want you guys to be aware of that. We project out what we think the revenue is gonna be based kind of roughly on last year, but we're gonna be even more conservative in next year's budget, so just want you guys to be aware of that, so.
Okay,
And thank you for this, keeping us up to date.
Yes. Any questions on her report? I guess I would just say real quick that to the point you just brought up, total permits for 23 was 227 and to date, 2024 is 182. So we're off 40, 43, or 45. Anything else?
none for me.
No, sir.
Okay, airport.
Bill, where are we at on the fuel tanker from Idaho?
Still waiting for him to make a decision which airport.
Okay.
They're still working on the truck for some reason, I don't understand.
No. No, I don't have anything on airport.
Okay. Anything from you, sir, other than,
Oh,
takes the landfill?
I didn't see anything.
Just a public comment, I guess, would say Jill has spoken to Brian and said that it will be approved, but they're still waiting, for WSP, which is the engineering firm, I believe, to address her comments.
She's not worried, according to, and I've been talking with Brian about it, so it looks good so far.
And finishing up paperwork, on that compactor. Anything else?
No.
And that will take us to recycling.
Price of aluminum's up 81 cents over 50 cents. And more product just coming in, so.
Okay. No worries there.
One quick comment, because it is from recycling, is I have received partial reimbursement for on that mini grant from COG on the cardboard, bell barn roof.
Okay.
And pursuing the rest of that reimbursement at this time.
Okay.
Human Services. Anything from anyone on that?
No, sir. It looked to be about what it was last year, or last month.
Get your door problem fixed. Clock, whatever it was.
I don't know.
Never had a problem opening or talking through the window or whatever it was.
Oh. Now they're still talking through the door.
Yes, they are. So, getting ready to come into the period for the leap to jump up on them.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Anything else?
None from me.
All right, emergency management.
I didn't have any issues here either. Talked to her earlier.
Anything from you, sir?
No.
Okay, that'll take us to extension. I think I would just comment, I'd like to give a shout out to the 4-H, not only at the county level, but all those that went to state. Just congratulations for the work and the effort that they all put in, and those that placed at state. We had shooting sports placed at state, we had people in public speaking, as well as in the livestock placed, and just appreciate all of the work that they put in to those kids and that the kids put in as well.
Yep, a lot.
Anything else on the extension?
No.
Okay. That will conclude the staff reports. We have no unfinished business. Before we go into new business, I will take a short recess, even if you don't need to. I might. So we will be in recess.
Right.
10/22.
Some coffee back here, anybody want a cup? Some bud right now. Mhm.
Okay, the time is now 10:31 a.m. I will reconvene this BOCC meeting. Next item on our agenda would be our new business. First thing up would be the accounts payable.
There's two different ones. One came in late from tourism. So that's on a separate.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the lodging and tourism fund of $5,553.30.
It's 5,000, it's still loading the money.
What?
Say it again.
$5,553.30.
I saw that somewhere. Who put it on there?
Jen put it up.
It was an email directly from Jen
Yeah, it's
last night.
There it is.
Are you wanting to do these separately or
Yeah,
together?
let's just do them separate.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Move, I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to approve the accounts payable from tourism in the sum of $5,553.30. Any discussion here at the table?
None for me.
No,
Okay.
it was the amount of what? It's, was it a total?
$5,553.30.
Making sure what I saw was the same.
Okay. Public comment. Seeing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries. Okay, the next one will be the initial AP run in the sum of $308,064.25.
So I'll move that we accept the AP run for that amount. I see it. Keep losing it.
$308,064.25.
That's it.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, so I do have a motion on the floor to approve the AP in the sum of $308,064.25. Discussion here.
None for me.
We got a couple of things that we, and I think it's changed on this report, that had initially been on one account that went to another, so, and that had been taken care of. And I would just, maybe off topic just a little bit, but I do know that the generator and the battery for that Vertimont tower is also being sub-billed out.
Yep, that's
So,
correct.
and that's on here. So, anything else?
So,
Public comment? Those in favor of approving the AP report in the sum of, let me get back down there again, $308,064.25, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. The next item up would be the ratification of the Bob Jolly proclamation.
Okay, I'll take that on. So I mentioned this at the head of the meeting, that we would be doing this and ratifying that proclamation. So I'm going to read it publicly into the record here. So this is a proclamation celebrating the contributions of Robert Bob Jolly and declaring September the 5th, 2024 as Robert Bob Jolly Day. And further naming the Silver West Airport main building as the Robert Jolly Maintenance Facility. By the way, the reason we're doing this and by ratification, because they wanted to keep it a secret from him. So he'd be surprised, and he was surprised. Whereas Robert Bob Jolly has served the Custer County community and Silver West Airport faithfully for many years, and whereas Chief Jolly, a retired United States Air Force Chief Master Sergeant and former NASA program lead, has been a longtime resident of Custer County and has volunteered selflessly throughout the Custer County community. And whereas Chief Jolly's volunteer service continues and currently spans more than 12 years of diligent work to sustain, maintain, and improve the Silver West Airport. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Custer County, Colorado wishes to recognize Chief Jolly for his dedicated service to the community through countless hours of volunteer work. Now therefore let it be proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners for Custer County that, number one, the Board of Custer County Commissioners hereby proclaims that Thursday, September the 5th, 2024 shall hereafter be known as Robert Bob Jolly Day. And two, and further, that the main building at the Silver West Airport shall be hereafter named the Robert Jolly Maintenance Facility, approved and adopted this day by 5 September 2024 at Westcliff, Colorado. Signed by Kevin Day, Chairman, William R. Kanda, Vice Chairman, Lucas Epp, Commissioner, and attested to by Kelly Camper, Clerk to the Board. I move we ratify this.
I'll second.
A motion on the floor to ratify the proclamation as read here today. Any discussion on that?
I think it was a great thing. He really was surprised.
It was.
It was a good thing. I mean, we had a pretty good attendance of the board there and great hamburgers.
And found another leak.
Burger Buster. And we did find a leak.
There was another leak on the roof.
It was raining cats and dogs that day.
Okay. Public comment. Seeing and hearing none, those in favor of ratifying the proclamation as read here today signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries.
Let me get the original, Kelly, make a carbon copy of that. What do you want to do?
I have one right
Proclamation
here.
got one. We can, so just.
I'll
Yeah,
start it.
that's
Just
the one I'm
file.
gonna record,
Okay.
because you
So
gave
use
that
your-
other one to him, right?
Yeah.
Or
Use
framed it
use
or
your
whatever.
best penmanship.
All right.
Okay. Next item on our agenda. You're up, Dorothy. First item that Dorothy has for us is Hawk and Frog LLC booth short-term rental.
Thank you guys for letting me slip all these things in here, because there's a lot of real estate transactions that will be pending on a lot of these approvals. This particular STR, the Hawk and Frog LLC STR, we've been working on for a while. They have met all of the conditions, preconditions that the Planning Commission had set on them, such as bringing the number of bedrooms down to the size that was adequate for their septic. It was not a unanimous vote to approve this. There were 6 planning commission members that voted, and 5 out of the 6 voted to approve. I have done a site tour following their preconditions, and the homeowner has met all of those preconditions. The conditions that they have set for them going forward with their short-term rental will be a maximum rental of 8 people. A rental agent will be the license holder, which is normal. We have that on all of them. Must comply with all local, state, and federal regulations. The permit will be reviewed on a written complaint basis. There will be no more than 4 bedrooms and space for 8 people to sleep. That was one of the main conditions. Include emergency contact information in the welcome packet, and she has done that. And then no rentals and this was something the homeowner brought up, was no rentals from November to March unless plow services have been attained and the driveway is clearly passable. That was one of the concerns from the site tour, was the narrowness and dangerous driveway, if you will. She has made some improvements, although that will be a continuous effort on her part, and she is committed to that. So
So she basically put that
she did.
restriction in herself. rather
She
than
did,
being-
because of it's a sharp slope off that driveway. And she's gonna monitor to make sure that the driveway is passable during the winter months and that it will be able to be rented if it's passable.
I'm seeing her information here. Did we,
I don't see the.
I don't
vote
see
stuff.
the vote.
I mean,
That may not have gotten scanned in.
Possibly not. Do you want me to go through who voted?
you pass it through.
Sure. I highlighted it on there so you can see.
And I do see that we have this applicant online as well. I don't know, Liv, is there anything you would like to say or at this time? You're welcome to if you'd like to.
What's her name? Who's online?
Liv Booth.
Yeah, this is Leave Booth. I'm the owner of 1411 Little Horn and of Hawk and Frog LLC, which is me and my husband, by the way. That's our names for each other. Not that you need to know that. There you go. I really did want to thank Planning and Zoning for helping me get the space ready with their insights. And to the commissioners, I just really want to say I really appreciated watching this meeting. You guys handled many things, and I see you guys really intentionally being servants of the public, and that's been really impressive to see. So I'm grateful for that. This process has been a great exercise in me trusting God's timing and providence, and kind of seeing how that is going to work out in time. And I'm grateful for that exercise. So I do hope that this looks okay to you guys, and I am committed to creating a good space that will really only be a blessing for Custer County. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And my apologies. I've always said live instead of leave, so please forgive me for that.
You're not the first.
All righty.
Well, I move that we accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission to approve this short-term rental permit for, I guess we could say the full name, but it was the landowner of record is Leave Booth.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to approve the short-term rental permit for the Hawk and Frog LLC. That's the Booth short-term rental. Discussion here at the table.
Good. Restrictions are good, they put on there. Fine.
Public comment? Seeing none, those in favor of approving the Hawk and Frog LLC Booth short-term rental, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Congratulations.
Good job, thanks, Arnie.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you for that one, Dorothy. Next would be the Taylor, the Ranch of Hope special use permit.
And I realize I did not give you the votes because I just got them typed up last night, so.
That might be why.
The Taylor, David and Hope Taylor Ranch of Hope, they are contingent, they're in the process of purchasing what used to be known as Hope, it's not the Ranch of Hope, but Holy Hill.
Holy hell.
So they're purchasing that property. Their purchase is contingent on our decision, your decision today. The Planning Commission did have the hearing on the 9th, which was Monday. Every Planning Commission member did vote in favor. I'll run through and then pass around their votes. So Skip, his reason was that it was a good service needed in our community. Daryl Winland was his reason was good. It's a good organization, well established. Mary Mowry was wonderful area for this service. Justin Drew was, the Taylors have a good established business, and expanding it will be good for our community. Mike Shields, everything is ready and in place at this location. And then Carol Behanger, I always say her last name wrong, is low impact business, and the service is very much needed. And then Keith Hood, our chairman. The property is what used to be a conditional use property, had their own permit, and this will allow that legacy to continue from Holy Hill. I'll pass that around for you guys to see that.
It was already established, so what was different?
So, okay, Holy Hill had a campground and a lot of other things that they up there. I'm not as familiar as you probably all are, but it had not been in operation for over 20 years. It was, as Jackie put on everything, defunct when I took over. So we had them redo it as their own special use permit. This is different. It is, the service that they're offering is for counseling services. They will have potentially as many as 2 couples up there, so 4 people at a time staying maybe for the weekend, for example, and then 1 counselor. They currently have a home occupation permit that they run their counseling services out of their current home. They're wanting to move that over into its own location. And I offer the same service and potentially expand down the road. If this is approved, they will most likely be adding 1 more counselor when they can hire that individual, and then offering additional services to the community.
Thanks.
There were no conditions put on this SUP, by the way.
Well, I move we approve the application for the, what we call this, the Taylor Ranch of Hope special use permit.
I'll second.
A motion on the floor to approve the special use permit for Taylor Ranch of Hope. Discussion here at the table.
And for me, additional.
Public comment on this. Seeing none. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. The next one we have would be the Martin, I'm gonna say, is that Hogg? And Michelson vacate and replat.
So this is a replat, a vacation and replat in the Ponderosa Heights area. It includes lot 39.
41 and 43.
Thank you, 31 and 41 and 43. They are all 3 adjoining neighbors. Sun Drive actually comes down into a circle, and what they are doing is somewhat eliminating that little turnabout roundabout there, taking the land and moving it so that, I'll give you an example without, I can pull the map up and explain it, but I think I can explain it just as well verbally. I'll give you an example. So Gary Martin's property actually goes over Sun Drive, over that road. So what they, into the other individual's property, which makes that portion of that land kind of unusable for him. And the same goes for the other two neighbors. By doing the vacation and replat that they have proposed there, it will allow them to all better utilize their land and eliminate any issues down the road with that easement or road going through there. It's not an easement, it's a road. It's a subdivision road. They're all gonna end up with the same amount of acreage. It just lays it out easier for them so they can utilize all of their land rather than just a portion.
Okay, any issues?
No issues whatsoever. It was, I don't have a vote summary. I don't know that the planning commission, I'm sure they voted, didn't they? I don't know what I did with it. It was a unanimous vote for them to have the approval for the vacation and replat.
Good example, neighbors working together, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know I have the vote summary somewhere, but do you think I can find it?
Okay, since I'm on a roll, I'll move we accept the Martin, Hogg, and Michelson vacation and replat.
I'll second.
Okay, so a motion on the floor to approve the vacation and replat as presented here today. Any further discussion here at the table?
None from me.
Is on.
And public comment? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That motion carries. Next item would be the Maori subdivision waiver application refund.
Just, it is, as stated, Mary and Thomas Mowry are asking for a refund for their request for waiver of the subdivision regulations. This, I brought to the Wetmore meeting and you guys approved the subdivision. It went to hearing, the planning commission in that hearing on April 6th made the decision that it really didn't need to come to them. They did vote on it. I have a synopsis of their vote. And they did it, basically what they asked at the end of that conversation was that I write the letter to the assessor's office dividing that property. I took care of that. And in discussing it with Kelly, because we don't do these a lot, she suggested that we take it to the board, which we did in the meeting at Wetmore. And they're asking for a refund.
So that actually, so it went through the entire process. And then, so we went through the planning commission and through us. But then decided that it probably could have been done administratively, is that right?
Correct.
But did go through the entire process, so the planning commission had to look at it, and we looked at it, your office worked on that as well.
Yes, and I think that's something we've discussed, that there may be additional vacations and replat lot line adjustments that I can do in-house.
Right.
I'm seeing some discrepancies when I look at what's in the subdivision regulations and what's in the resolution. So therein lies some confusion. I'm leaving that up to you guys on the refunds. I took it to the board because I wanted to make sure down the line, with one lot being a 20-acre lot and one being a 40-acre lot, she didn't have any issues with the well. So something.
That's the one that had on both sides of the road.
Correct.
I don't have a problem refunding it if it was, seemed right to me.
If we stay consistent
Yeah.
in laying this out moving forward, if we
Right.
can't stay consistent,
And,
because we don't have strict guidelines of when we activate or a refund and don't activate refund.
how much was it?
$400. Up to this point, it's been, we've refunded the use tax if they did not.
Because there are things you can do, that's for sure, yourself.
I guess my question would be, is, because it did go completely through the process, all of the work was done through the planning commission, and it came to us, the work was done through the planning and zoning office. So yeah, that's where my question lies in regards to the refund.
They elected to do it, so I still don't have a problem with it. Doing it wrong, then,
With giving it back,
yeah,
with refunding.
yeah.
Well, I guess I don't want to say that my office did it wrong.
I didn't say you did it wrong.
Okay.
It could have been done differently.
Well, in the process and how it reads in both the resolution and the subdivision regulations is that I have a pre-meeting conference with the chairman, and that was how we decided to go. And then during the meeting,
Yeah,
it was decided different.
that's right.
So just to clarify that.
So we could do it the other way around, and you get into, go, yeah, we can take care of this just administratively, and then we find out that we gotta, and then all of a sudden we're going back to them and going, well, you are gonna have to pay the permit fee because we got into this.
It's a recommendation, Dora. What do you think?
I really don't want to make a recommendation one way or another. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Sorry. I have to please you guys. I have to please the planning commission. Mary is part of the planning commission, and
I'm good.
Point taken.
Okay,
I'm good with whatever you guys decide.
so what are we deciding here then?
Whether or not to refund their
That
application fee.
Is that what
$100.
we're, the only thing we're looking?
Yes.
All right, I move we refund it, just all the time.
All right, I'll keep up my second meeting.
Okay.
So I do have a motion on the floor to approve the refund for the Maori subdivision waiver application fee. Any further discussion here at the table? Public comment? Okay. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I believe I will vote nay. That motion does carry.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you for all of this.
I will bring everything over for you to sign in a little while.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Dorothy.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Rich, we have your report and also your items that we are going to be looking at. So if you'd like to come up.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you.
So for our report, we're basically 66% of the year through last month, and we've only spent 59%, so we're roughly 6% below budget. Still on track to be roughly $300 and some thousand under our budget from last year. Our crimes are actually down in 2024, especially the major crimes, but our calls for service are up 78%, and it was just a brutal summer. We had a lot of calls, and one of the calls that I'm surprised to see so high is our animal incident calls, and so we're getting more than one of those a day, 244, and those can be cows on the highway or lost dogs or animal abuse cases. And the Humane Society recently took a huge cut in funding, and the detective that they had assigned to this part of the state, in fact, I believe they laid off every detective they had statewide except for one. And so that's put us in a predicament. And so I would like going forward to look at getting a grant for like an animal control officer to handle these kinds of cases for us. We'll see how that goes. Some of the other crimes, assault 7, burglary 5, car theft is up this year with 10. And we have a problem with people leaving their cars unlocked with a key in ignition or a key fob in the car, so anybody that opens the door can start it. And that's all I have for my report.
78%, is that what you said?
Calls for service are up 78% this year, and most of that actually happened during the summer. I wish I had a breakout to say which month, but it was a very, very busy summer for us.
So as far as your spending goes, you're on track.
We're actually
What you're
below
planning. I
track,
know
right,
you're a little bit
6% below. Yep.
6%. So, and you'll finish up your
Roughly
projection.
300,000 under what we spent last year.
Once upon a time, I used to leave my keys in the car. I'd be mad at Gayla when she locked the house,
Yeah,
because
me
I'd have to
too.
go back to the car to get the keys to open the door of the house.
Well, I grew up in Colorado as a kid, and I, for the life of me, don't remember our front door ever being locked at our house, and we lived in Colorado Springs. So I don't think, maybe, I guess we locked it on vacation or something, but it was just open all the time.
Same there. Okay, thanks. I don't have any other questions.
No.
All right, now the long-awaited visit.
So we have, part of your report then we had on the agenda was also the inmate detention services intergovernmental agreement with Fremont County.
Yes, and so I did send you guys a copy of that contract. It's basically the exact same as 2 years prior. This contract also runs for 2 years. And I'm friends with Sheriff Cooper from my job before, and I think he's one of the best sheriffs in the state for running a jail by the book and being accountable for the numbers. And he actually didn't raise our price from 2 years ago, but he said his medical costs, because he has a medical facility in the jail, are up 20% this year. So he said definitely after this 2-year contract, the next one would have to go up to cover those increased medical costs in the jail.
Yeah, and I noticed that Bullis just signed a new county jail standards thing too, so I was surprised that the costs aren't.
Yeah, so this is our last year of getting a free ride for 2 years, and then the costs will go up. So I actually went to Denver and talked with Representative Amelie, and she ran specifically for the legislature to address the jail standards. And she told me that her vision of like the jail of the future would be kind of like based on a college dorm room type of a scenario. And I think we could ever do something like that here, but I don't know a big jail like El Paso County. You wouldn't have the room to do something like that. And Sheriff Cooper from Fremont is actually on that committee.
For each prison?
Yep. It's a little separate bedroom. There's going to be a noise level requirement. They'll be able to adjust their own heat and air. And one of the things that we were worried about up here is the air quality. And so if one person was sick, the air circulates among the whole jail, and they want that limited so that it's just like on a per cell basis, which makes sense to keep.
Yeah, and Fremont County's new jail isn't like that.
No, it
No.
isn't.
And so Pueblo is actually in the process of building a new jail right now on
So you're gonna
what
build
we
it
call.
to those standards?
He'll meet the standards that are in today, but they're going to keep moving those standards forward.
By the time they get their facility completed, it will already not be in government. So.
And he told me that he's 50 detention deputies short right now, and they just are really struggling to hire people who want to go into corrections.
So that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Would you like to continue your string, sir?
I'll move, if you want the whole stream, that we approve the inmate detention services intergovernmental agreement with Fremont County. You want to do your string?
Yeah, I'll second.
All righty. So I have a motion on the floor to approve the IGA between Custer County and Fremont County for inmate detention services as presented here today. Further discussion?
I see that this is for 2 years, but it does look like the daily costs will be reviewed annually.
Okay.
So, and I kind of expected that, so.
Otherwise, people would be eating bread and water.
Oh, no, there's dietary requirements. And even when we had the jail here, we had to post a diet with the nutritional makeup of the diet too.
Yeah, and I remember when we did our tour that they said if they feed them a little better, then they stay a little more calm, compliant, whatever you want to call it.
Well, our costs, and there is a budget line on my budget for inmate holding down there. And it's high this year, and reason why is we've had the murder suspect who's been in there. He'll be in there all this year and probably not go to trial the next year. And then we also have a person from the community who I think struggles with mental illness. And when he takes his medication, he's fine. And he doesn't, he commits crimes. And so he's in jail. And I actually met with the public defender yesterday and said I would support if we could get him on a medication schedule, and then instead of holding him in jail, which does him no good, get him back. But otherwise, we'll pay for him to be in jail for a year to get him to the public mental health hospital.
Is that something where, just like UIs, we can monitor the medication? Are you taking it or you're not? Or is that something that we're kind of out of? And
so the court could. And so, and specifically in the case of a bipolar situation, they make a drug that you can get an injection, and the injection lasts for 30 days. So as long as the person came back every 30 days to their medical provider. And then if they didn't, it would count just like as somebody submitting a hot drug test or something.
I gotcha.
Anything else?
No, good.
Public comment? Those in favor of approving the intergovernmental agreement for inmate detention services as presented here today, signify by saying aye.
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 Are you thinking about keeping your budget number the same or are you thinking about having that up to that? Because that's maybe for 2 people all year.
Yeah, we'd have to adjust some budget lines probably.
For that. And I think the insurance probably went up for that as well.
No doubt.
So, okay.
Can you send me a copy of that?
Yep. Do you want this copy?
Uh,
Or I can take it to your office and come get it.
Assigned.
Is it?
It's gotta be signed by.
Oh, I
Putting
got
the
it.
signature on.
I got it tested anyway, so
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Oh,
and you gotta sign it too.
okay, our next item on the agenda would be the discussion of hiring an outside attorney to represent Custer County Sheriff and/or the Sheriff's Office in a matter involving a temporary restraining order.
Okay, let me take this on to just say a couple things before I turn it over to you. I'm working with Rich, I did put this on the agenda. And I want to make sure the public understands some of the things first, that the reason it's worded the way it is because in my estimate, I'm not gonna mention any names. We have a Colorado Bureau of Investigation, independent investigation going on today. It's very important that we get to the bottom of every detail in that. It's a data breach that involved the county that the public's all aware of. And it infected all of our systems, in fact. So, given that, we want to make sure that we don't interrupt that investigation or just dilute it or whatever, cause harm to that. So that's why we have to be very careful. Now, the reason we're bringing it up is because in my view, there was a frivolous, I'll quote, frivolous civil action that's been filed. And that action is public information. Anybody can go to the website and pull it up if they want to look at it. I'm not going to bother bringing it up. And that's up to other things. And Rich will mention some other issues with it. So that is causing us to spend county money to find an attorney to represent the sheriff. The reason it is doing that is because we have an attorney, our county attorney today has a conflict with it because of that data breach and how it evolved. And I can't get into any more any more discussion than that. That's why we have this on the agenda today. We have to spend up to, I think, $5,000 is, and Rachel explains where that number comes from. Oh, people's money, our money on this, and I'll say it again, frivolous civil action. So Rich, I'd like to have you explain that, and then let's see what the options are.
So I did get notified that there was an emergency petition for a temporary restraining order against myself and the Custer Sheriff's Office in regards to a criminal investigation that is currently ongoing. And I'm in an awkward spot because I'm actually a victim of the investigation, so I don't have any.
That's why it's independent.
I'm not doing anything as part of the investigation. It's also beyond our technical capability here. And so I notified the FBI and CBI, and they have people who can process the evidence for us. And that's the stage that the investigation is in. And I read the person submitted a sworn affidavit, and I read it and had several attorneys look at it, and they believe that it's unwarranted and actually has some logical fallacies in it. And that's, I think it's also signed by an attorney. And so.
Well, I want to make sure you're comfortable that we don't do anything. We got to get to the bottom of how the breach has affected our citizens, who's involved, whether it's a private citizen, whether it's all of the county employees, whoever is involved. We have to get to the bottom of it so we can not ever have it happen again. So how do you feel about, are we going to be able to go through this hearing?
Yeah, so I believe that
it's a hearing we have to go through.
Yeah, I believe that we'll be successful when it gets to a hearing.
And this hearing's coming up next week.
So the law requires it to happen within 14 days, and the person who filed this is called a complainant, and then I would be the respondent. And so the complainant has actually asked the county attorney to give them more time to prepare for their own complaint, which would be unusual. But I did reach out to an attorney, and again, this is kind of beyond the scope of what like CTSI would do for us. And they have, insurance attorneys, so that if a county dump truck sideswipes a car or something, they can figure out the percent of liability. But because this involves a criminal case, we need to have a criminal lawyer who understands kind of how the pieces are in play here. So it's complicated, and he gave an estimate of around $5,000 to handle this hearing.
It's just the hearing, and what else?
So this is a temporary order, and in 14 days or after this public hearing, then the judge would have the option to make it a permanent restraining order, which we would disagree with the need for doing something like that.
So this is kind of to do this hearing is to decide whether that's warranted or
right,
not.
Whether it's valid.
And so we have this happen in our community a lot. Someone would come in, say a victim of domestic violence would be most common. They would go over there, ask for a temporary hearing. I'm sorry, a temporary restraining order, and then the judge typically grants those. And
that's usually with enough evidence to make it warranted,
right,
to look at in the first place. Bob's got a question.
So as far as CTSI goes, my knowledge of our policy with them, I believe there is coverage, potential coverage under elected officials acts. That's not the term, but that's the essentials of it. That while it would not provide for an attorney, like you're talking about, it would I believe potentially provide for the coverage of those expenses. So if that's what you want to do, that's up to you, but then if you take that action to do that, then I can work with CTSI to file the claim, to do the risk management, all that other stuff as far as potential coverage, so that the pocket of expense of that is not on the taxpayer.
Because of the conflict, or because of...
Well, yeah, if you want to hire an outside attorney, which is fine, that's, and there's reason if you want to do that. What I'm saying is CTSI won't engage an attorney for us, but I believe there's coverage that would say if you do that,
Good to know.
there's the coverage for those expenses related to their review. So I can't guarantee that, but I believe that's what the policy says.
It wouldn't be direct impact, but it would be indirect. So
Every time.
let's just be
Yeah.
honest about that.
Yeah,
If the
Oh,
judge
I-
decides this is a frivolous restraining order, then it would be on the complaint would have to pay the legal bills.
that's good to know.
I have spoken as recently as last night with our county attorney. And I think there is somewhat of a difference of opinion as to whether there is a conflict of interest. That being said, he is fine with us moving forward with this, although he personally believes that he does not have a conflict.
Yeah. And I'm not
You may address
criticizing
that,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not criticizing him at all.
Yeah, so,
But just the nature of the complexity
but
of who's
it's
involved.
been stated that he does have a conflict of interest.
That was stated.
I just want it to be known that there's a difference of opinion as to whether he does have a conflict or not. And so, that comes up on more than one occasion where, depending on your outlook on things, as to whether you believe there's a conflict or not.
And like I said, we have to be careful not to taint the investigation.
The criminal case
CPI,
has to
and
go forward.
That's what I'm worried about.
And so, and of course, we can't go to the DA at this time either.
So I did actually call her as well, and the county attorney had requested that I do that, and so I sent her this motion. And I spoke with her as recently as last night, and yesterday was the day that she learned. And then I'm not sure how long one of the news articles said that she was still there for 35 days or something. I don't know.
What's the word we get is he's trying to make it coincide with her term somehow. That she's appealing it, so we don't know.
No, but she's been notified and been given a copy of this.
Do you have an attorney in mind?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Well, I move we approve Rich's request for an outside attorney. And do we want to cap them now, or are we gonna look at getting refund? How do we want to phrase that? $5,000 is probably, it's gonna be a couple weeks. Research that they gotta do is gonna cost it.
I mean, it's gonna cost what it costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess we authorize it.
Make the motion.
I move that we authorize the hiring of an outside attorney for the sheriff's office on this,
For this hearing.
for this hearing support.
I'll second.
So we have a motion on the floor to authorize the sheriff to move forward with hiring outside representation for this restraining order hearing. Further discussion? Good thing you're 6% under budget, right? So you can move fine. Anything else here at the table?
Not from me.
Public comment?
I think you ought to do anything in your power to support the sheriff in that issue. That's my comment.
Thank you. James?
Since there's a disagreement of a conflict of interest with respect to our county attorney, don't you think that issue should be resolved before you hire an outside attorney when we have one of our own?
This, in essence, if we approve this, would actually resolve that issue, because there would not be any question then. I think is what the consensus here would be, given there is a difference of opinion. If you have someone on the outside, then it takes that completely off the table.
But you have to pay somebody else when you've already got an attorney.
That is correct.
And the issue is, which we can't get into, and I'd leave it up to Bob, who's been doing the research on it. It gets into personnel and personnel issues on the original issue with the data breach, so we can't talk about it. And that's
I'm
why
not concerned about that. I'm concerned that our county attorney may not have a conflict of interest, and that should be resolved before you hire an outside attorney.
Thank you. Anything else? Jim?
Yeah, Jim Chaplin. This sounds like something that is an important issue and needs to be moved on immediately. And this will help resolve the conflict of interest thing and stuff. So I feel we should move forward as rapidly as possible.
Thank you. Anyone else? Nothing online. Those in favor of authorizing the sheriff to move forward with hiring outside representation for this restraining order hearing, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. So go ahead and move forward, sir, with that, and
Good luck.
Thank you.
anything else from you, sir?
Yep.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sheriff. Any additional items of business?
I had some things, but
Have you lost them by now?
I lost them. I don't know, I can't remember what they were.
Finance, road and bridge.
Yeah, I don't know. What?
Shake your head a little, Jim.
Yeah, it's the second thing that goes, and he can't remember the first.
Yeah. I don't know what I had. Oh, next meeting, do we want to talk about BOCC admin? Do we have that discussion? Or we're gonna plan another workshop with Bob on all
That
those
was high.
positions that
Ty
are
took it.
kind of open? Okay.
So we need to get something, maybe have him reach out to us, check our calendar so we can get something scheduled there.
Yeah, and then you haven't heard anything back on the DA's meeting as to what dates? It sounds like that was tried to be planned way too soon, and
Yeah.
everybody had maybe getting 4 different counties commissioners.
One of them even pointed out we may be under a temporary DA for a while too, isn't that option, so.
Oh, because if she doesn't.
Right, depends on how she plays out.
That Polis could select somebody, because you would select who that temporary.
That's right.
If she goes out before
the term.
Before the
Okay.
election and the term.
So that's what they're considering. So in the meantime, we still have to get our meetings together, and we'll just follow through with
Okay.
temporary budgets.
Well, and the budget itself would be for next year,
Right.
next term, so even if there was an interim, that would only go on this year's budget, it wouldn't affect our discussions for next year.
Okay.
So, have not got a response back.
Okay.
After that first meeting fell apart.
Okay.
So, maybe they are gonna move together with just getting 4 reps together to have that discussion and bring it to all of us separately that way. That might be what takes place, so
Okay.
we'll see how that looks.
I'll add the 15% in for just now, right now, for
Placeholder.
but and we'll make note of that it's a 15% increase, but
Okay.
I figured more than that, but 15% I'd actually be happy with that. Because I figured it'd be more, based upon when I went to his that roundtable discussion last Thursday down in Florence, and what he wants to do, it sounded like a lot more than 15%.
So that's why we can start there. Once we understand it again.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Anything from you, sir?
Nope, I'm happy.
Okay. General public comment. Oh,
I had a question. I'm not familiar with everything that's going on here, but is there this filing that's against the sheriff? is there any way that the public can get a copy of what that is?
Sure. Go to
How do I get it?
ask Rich, but you can get it from the court. I think
It's a public record through the court.
it's through the court. You can go over there and get it.
Oh, okay.
Not me, the court.
The court, not,
Thank
not the, not the
Not the
court.
county, not
Go
the,
over and get it, and bring it back.
And I bet you Rich would
clerk of court, not the county
Court,
clerk.
yeah,
Okay,
It's a public document.
public, okay. I just wanted to
Christina.
clarify.
Christina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christine will get it. Thank you. All right.
Anything else? Harold?
I have a question to the commissioners in regards to the security breach or the issue of the computer hacking or compromising or of security or safety or all of the above. And, or what little has leaked. Nobody seems to know any details, however, I ask you, the commissioners, and ask you if the security of the Dominion voting machine has been compromised? No. And I did not ask you.
Direct your comments to us, please, Harold.
Well, he just answered.
He was answering your question because he is privy to that information. If you could direct your comments to
Okay,
us,
but the
thank
question
you.
is to you.
And I would reiterate, no.
So how can you guarantee that? And if you guarantee that,
Okay, and that is something that we're not gonna be able to go into there again with the security issues and things of that nature, where we can tell you that it is not compromised. Kelly is taking steps on her side as well with the state to make sure and come in on that. And they're going to do a complete wipe and reload everything as well to make sure that that is the case.
have you informed the public about that? That there has been,
That was announced even the last public meeting we had. Kelly made that announcement. So yes, it has been announced.
She announced it, but I'll tell you that that's an opinion. I don't share the opinion that it has not been compromised. You can't tell. I don't know. And so I happen to disagree. I understand what they have said, and I'm not against doing what Kelly's recommended. It's the right thing to do. But until and when we understand the impact of what that data breach really was and how much was done with the computer, even the Dominion machine. I know Kelly was there and she watched it, but how do you know, and how does she know? It's still a question with me. So I want that investigation to go on. The election's gonna go on with the machine that we have today. And in fact, there is, in the works that we all know about, the citizens group that's putting a hand count together on the site as well. So I think we want to do everything we can to protect our vote. It matters.
So I think we need to then talk with our sheriff, and we need to drive the investigation into whatever may have happened with the Dominion computers and get that done first and cleared up immediately.
Right.
Not wait for the
CBI
the
or
machine,
something, that's right.
the rumor mill to
keep driving up.
We need answers, we need to get solutions and move forward.
A good question, Harold,
Do you
and
want to
it
speak to
matters.
any of that? I don't know.
I can speak to it.
Got it in work.
I can't say a lot. What was done, did not compromise the machines. We have already performed the, cleansing of the machines, if you want to call it that, where everything was wiped out so that it's fresh and good to go for the election, and I believe that it will be fine.
you understand my concern. I mean, it's a very important election, and if somebody had any access to that, I mean, it is a true concern.
It is.
It is, there's no question.
So, and I apologize if my response was short. So, my apologies.
Okay.
I'll go with James and then I'll hit you, Bob.
Bob said.
Well, first of all, I object to the tone of this discussion in that, again, we are casting doubt on a system that has been shown to be reliable, and in this case, something happened and it was re-shown to be reliable, but yet one of the commissioners is questioning that. So I quite frankly think this is ridiculous. We're supposed to be raising confidence in our systems, and we have a very good system. There was an outside breach. I don't know anything about it at all. This is all news to me, but yet the sheriff is characterizing it. He's calling things frivolous. A county commissioner is characterizing it, saying, I don't believe the results of the testing. So this is crazy. You guys are just poisoning what's going on. And it's time for that to stop, because the citizens in this county are up in arms over nothing. They're trying to create an issue to divide everybody and cast doubt upon an election ahead of the election. And it's nonsense. And it's time to stop it. You guys need to lead that stoppage, not foster it. The sheriff himself is now consulting with one of the larger contributors to that same issue. So it's just tainted with inappropriate behavior on our government officials. And it's time for you guys to stop it.
Thank you. Bob?
So I'll try to characterize some things, and I apologize if I misspoke for you, sir. It was not my intention, other than to say part of the issue that you're discussing is a personnel matter. To that end, that's all I can say. I'm not allowed to, by law, by ethics, by any other standard of that, to say anything more. You know, I could be held criminally and all kinds of things, held responsible if I did. So I won't. However, with that said, actions were taken that were in line with county policies and actions that the board didn't make the decision for, but were aware of, that I believe in the best interest of the county and its citizens.
That's right.
In that matter. Now, everything else, I have a great deal of knowledge about it. I have no knowledge that any other systems other than directly to internal operations were accessed. However, those systems are all connected, interconnected. But as a former law enforcement officer, and in this business for a very, very, very long time, I do not see anything that leads me to believe those systems like DHS and CDI and CCIC and NCIC and all of that, because I know those systems. I don't have proof that they were compromised. However, that's not to say someone with a great deal of knowledge could have figured it out. That's not what I'm saying. I think the county is very prudent to make sure, or to look at all potential avenues for making sure for the citizens, for elections, for DHS, for all all those things to pursue all avenues to ensure that if it was possible to make sure it didn't happen. The whole idea of data breaches and people's personal information and all that is front and center on all across the world. So it's prudent for the county to take actions to ensure that. So that's it.
I just signed up for 2 years of free monitoring because of my health records were compromised elsewhere. So that is everywhere. Anyone else?
Can I ask one more question?
I will let you, yes, sir.
I don't know to what extent data was compromised or whatever, but has the personal data of the citizens been compromised in this issue?
Don't
Um, That would be something that would be part of the ongoing investigation. To the best, I would say, to the best of my knowledge, no citizen's information is compromised. And so
And I don't believe any of that data's.
We don't know,
resides on
can't,
the county.
we don't know. And how
Yeah.
deep it is, that's why it's
Yeah.
important to understand that.
So, yeah, and that's all part of the investigation, so.
Okay. I appreciate Commissioner Epp and Commissioner Candace's effort to make that an urgent matter and to not just blow over it like it is nothing happened, because I mean, there could be really issues and
Once you understand, you will understand.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It is a big deal.
And we don't have control over what CBI
It's
does.
an
and
independent
what
investigation.
Case and what length or what's their priorities, which we don't. I mean, we can make a request, but otherwise.
And it is a criminal action. It's not a civil action. That's why it's related, and that's why we have to be careful.
Yeah.
So,
Probably, yeah, I would say probably the discussion could, if we keep going, would be farther than we should go.
that's right.
I allowed Harold too, so I'll allow you too, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, just a quick comment from my standpoint. I appreciate all the efforts that you folks are putting into this, CBI and everything else. We gotta get the facts, we gotta get to the bottom of it. And we have to discard a lot of the street talk, if I may, rumors that may be going on. But I think you gentlemen have to go forward and do what's best for the county and the people that are here. And I think you're doing the right thing by trying to get to the bottom and a full investigation and get all the information together so you can make a decision. So I thank you for that.
Thank you. I have nothing online. That being the case, I will adjourn this meeting at 11:39 a.m.
Before noon.
Before noon.
Sounds good.